Class 9 Chemistry Chapter 4 Atomic Structure and Chemical Bonding. Good morning, students. Students, till now we have seen the definition of an element, the definition of an atom, and something about radioactivity I already told you. Now we know that atom, there are certain particles or subatomic particles, and these are electrons, protons and neutrons. Students, we know the discoverers of electrons, protons and neutrons now. Now let us see how this electron was discovered. So the experimental setup was established by William Crook, a British scientist. So William Crook, a British scientist, noted that the gases are ordinarily poor conductors of electricity. However, when a high voltage, that is somewhere 10,000 volts, charge from an induction coil is applied to tubes filled with gases at very low pressure, that is 0.01 mmHg, the gases become good conductors of electricity and begin to flow from cathode to anode in the form of rays. Since these rays originate from the negative plate, that is the cathode, and travel from the cathode towards the anode, they are called cathode rays. So now let us see the experimental setup on which William Crook did the experiment. So I'm just drawing a cathode ray discharge tube. So it is nothing but a sort of tube. As you are having tube light at your home, so it is that sort of glass tube. Okay, now inside this glass tube gases were there, so they have taken out the gases with the help of a vacuum pump out of this cathode ray tube. Okay, but the gases, the pressure of the gas which was maintained over here, it was somewhere 0.01 mm of Hg. You see, if so many molecules are there, we know that gases are bad conductor of electricity. Okay, so we need to have the gases in less amount, the gas molecules we need to have in less amount. A less amount means less pressure we need to have the under less pressure the gases should be there. So with the help of a vacuum pump we decrease the pressure up to 0.01 mm of Hg. Now two rods, now they will be called electrodes of metallic nature, were taken at the either end. Okay, and then they were connected to a battery, you can say. Okay, in your book it has been written induction coil. So induction coil was nothing but just a sort of battery, and one battery terminal is positive, another one is negative. So thus electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called cathode, and another one connected to the positive terminal will be called anode. So that's why they have written plus somewhere here and negative here in your figure 4.1. okay, now after just switching on this battery, what they observed, that certain sort of radiations, they were coming out of here from this cathode and they were going towards the anode. So these radiations were in the form of discharge. Okay, you know the meaning of discharge. Discharge means a sort of sparking. You know what a spark, how a spark looks like. So in the same way, some sort of lightning, they were coming out of cathode and going towards the anode. And this sort of battery was providing a high amount of electricity or high amount of voltage, something at the range of 10,000 volt likewise. Okay, so basically why a high voltage is required, because we know gases are poor conductor of electricity. So in order to make them conduct electricity, we need to apply a high voltage. Okay, had it been the case that they are good conductor of electricity, only few hundred or thousand volts we should have been applying, but now since they are insulators gases, so we need to have a high voltage. Since these rays were coming out of the cathode, they were called cathode rays. Now later on that J.J. Thomson studied the characteristics and constituents of the cathode rays. The apparatus used by him is called a discharge tube or a cathode ray tube, and this is the figure which I already told you. I have drawn that battery. Here they have shown induction coil. Okay, and this is the setup of cathode ray discharge tube. Students, now these days we are having LCDs or LEDs as our TV sets, but initially the model of the TV somewhere back 10 years back, 15 years back, so such TVs, they were using the cathode ray. Basically inside them this tube was there, this cathode ray tube was there, but this was not in this same fashion as it has been drawn here. I'll show you. So sideway diagram of your TV I'm just drawing. So it was like this. Okay, so you are sitting, you are just looking the TV from here, and this is the screen. In that way I'm just showing this is the screen, and from inside there was a tube, and the tube was like this. So this is same, this is the cathode ray discharge tube, this one. Okay, so instead of having the diagram like this, I have drawn like this one. Now let us see what is written over there. Although I have already told you, a discharge tube is a hard glass tube fitted with two metal plates known as electrodes, one of which is connected to positive terminal of the battery and is called anode, positive electrode, while the other electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called cathode, that is negative electrode. It has a side tube through which gas can be pumped out by using a vacuum pump to create vacuum. And when electrical discharge of 10,000 volts is passed through gases at very low pressure, that is 0.01 mm, cathode rays are produced. And you know why we are calling them cathode rays, because they have been produced from the negative side, that is cathode. Okay, now let us see the properties of cathode rays. They travel from cathode to anode in straight lines. Okay, they cause a greenish yellow fluorescence on a soda glass screen placed in the tube. So let us see. If we paint this side with the soda glass screen, it is a sort of chemical. So when cathode strikes these sides, okay, these sides of the glass from inside I'm saying, so a sort of fluorescence will be observed. Okay, so when cathode rays are striking this soda glass screen, then a greenish yellow fluorescence is observed. Now what is the meaning of fluorescence? Students, you might have heard about fluorescent watches. In such watches you can see the time at night also, means when there is no light around you, you can see the time easily. So basically what is happening in fluorescence, whenever certain objects, if I call a certain object to be fluorescent, it means when light strikes it, and now if there is no light, that material will impart its color. Okay, so such a phenomenon is called fluorescence. So in your higher classes you will be knowing more about the fluorescent, and some more phenomena are there like phosphorescent. Okay, so right now let us see this third point. They are affected by electric field, that is they are in fact inflected towards the positive field and deflected from the negative field. This shows that they carry negative charge. So far these rays inside the cathode ray discharge tube. Now what is their nature? They are negatively charged particles. How we got to know this? Now you see here, when a positive field from outside and a negative field is applied, electrical field is applied, so we see that the radiations which were earlier going in a straight direction, now after the application of these electric field, positive and negative, they have turned towards the positive side. Okay, so it means anything that is attracted towards positive side means they will carry negative charge. So now we know that cathode rays are negatively charged particles. So students, this is all for today, and in our next meeting we will see some more properties of cathode rays and the conclusion derived by the scientist J.J. Thomson. Till then, goodbye.